The feudalism of Joseph Carnes. See, the thing about birthplaces is that it's morally completely random. You are not a country with open borders. See, this is exactly what I just said. Well, stick around. Stick around. See if you still agree in the end. Of course, you're a country with borders. You're still a nation. There's lots of nations that have no borders. There's still a few left. There have been many, many nations with no borders, but there's still many. There's still a few. Still a few nations that have no borders. Where you're born is completely random, and it's completely morally arbitrary. A system assigning life prospects by birthplace is modern feudalism. If you are born at a certain place, you're owned by this country. Think about what that means. Feudalism meant if you were born on the Lord's land, that Lord owned you. You belonged to them because you belonged to the land. Isn't that the same thing as today? You belong to the land. Feudal serfs, they couldn't even move anywhere, and so can't the global poor. They're not allowed to go anywhere either. They are bound to their nation states. If you're born in Sri Lanka, you can't leave. You're not allowed to go anywhere. Is that freedom? So many Americans claim to believe in freedom. They believe in liberty, but that's a lie. They don't believe in liberty and freedom. They believe in feudalism, or whatever counts as feudalism these days, like mercantilism. It's a wild thing that we still do. The only difference is planes and papers instead of lords and manors. They're open-air prisons indeed, but it's just like feudalism. You're just not allowed to leave. And even if you could leave, where are you going to go? No one will take you. You belong to somebody else. You can't go anywhere anyway. Even if you wanted to leave. It's funny that I'll get to the international human rights list. One of the human rights is to be able to leave your country. But there's no corresponding thing. That doesn't mean anything. You're allowed to leave, but you can't go anywhere. No one will let you in. Then you can't leave. Because of these idiotic borders, because they're the ones that control how fast you can go. The rich have no friction. They have no borders. Kevin O'Leary has 4 passports. One of them's Emirati. He's Canadian, Emirati. I think he's got English. I don't know. All these guys have multiple passports, can fly anywhere they want to go, but none of us can because we don't have the proper paperwork. You don't have the proper paperwork. But imagine if you could decide. There's this thing called the Rawlsian veil of ignorance, and it means that if you had to sign a contract on how to make the world fair before you were born, and you couldn't tell whether you're going to be born a boy or a girl, an African or an Asian. You have no, or even a cow or a pig, a chicken or a human. You don't know what you're going to be born. So, but you have to design a world that's going to be fair. Now, if you had to decide a world that was going to be fair before you knew if you were going to be born American or African, would you make birthplace the thing that determines your access to medicine, education, safety? Would you do that? Why? You would never do that. That's why borders are totally unethical. Like at the word go, at the word go, the borders are entirely unethical because to allow an arbitrary line that somebody a long time ago drew determine whether or not you get to see a doctor, whether or not you get to learn how to read is ridiculous.